From out of the blue, what once felt like a fantasy may be on the verge of becoming reality. A cascade of unforeseen leaks appears to have exposed Tesla's most heavily guarded secret. Of the last few years, the enigmatic Project Redwood, if this is all authentic and a mountain of evidence suggests it is, the world may be about to witness the arrival of the much-anticipated Tesla Model 2. A vehicle poised to shatter the existing rules of the automotive industry. It all kicked off with a small, easily missed clue. A patent filing submitted quietly in October 2024. But this single document contained a thread that, once pulled, started to unravel a story far grander than anyone had guessed. The clues began to multiply like wildfire. The community of fans and industry experts dove into public filings, and soon the online forums were ablaze with chatter about the so-called Redwood. And then the first major bombshell dropped. Satellite photos from independent firms captured strange activity in designated zones of the Gigafactory, Texas. The new constructions being erected were a perfect match for the leaked industrial blueprints, which were supposedly for the production of a new compact vehicle. A coincidence? It felt improbable, particularly as other details started to surface. Several disguised test mules were seen driving around the factory. Initially, they might have been mistaken for a simple variant of the Model 3, but something was off. The rear of the car sported LED taillights with a totally new lighting design, one never seen on any previous Tesla. Furthermore, the charging port was located on the left-hand side, just like the Cybertruck, which goes against the standardization of all the company's other models. All of this commanded attention because these specifics aligned with the descriptions in the leaked papers, down to the last millimeter, and it didn't end there. The tires on the prototype also drew scrutiny from those in the No Continental Eco Contact models, which have never been used on any Tesla before. Curiously, this exact tire model is mentioned in the technical papers linked to Project Redwood as the chosen ones for road trials on European roads. This triggered even more alerts and solidified the belief that this was far more than a simple test. This was a new generation in development, maybe the most audacious one Elon Musk has ever conceived. More documents began to surface in rapid succession between October and December 2024. A flood of no fewer than 23 patent applications were submitted, all with technical specifications that flawlessly corresponded to the components seen on the prototypes. And as if that wasn't persuasive enough, there was an error that all but confirmed the suspicions. A few recently deployed supercharging stations were internally designated as Model 2 compatible. At that stage, trying to hide anything seemed futile while all attention was focused on the leaks on the ground. The final confirmation came directly from orbit. Ultra-high-definition satellite photos showed new facilities at the Gigafactory that matched the layouts in the leaked diagrams with pinpoint accuracy. These included, for instance, sections for manufacturing pre-painted plastic components, a technique that promises to slash production costs by as much as 40%, a daring strategy, particularly for a vehicle aimed at the entry-level market where every single dollar matters. If all these signs are indeed accurate, then what follows is even more mind-boggling. According to the leaked information, Tesla is pioneering a completely revolutionary method to lower the production cost of the Model 2 to a point never before seen in the automotive world, just $7.500 per vehicle. Merely seeing that figure is enough to make one's head spin. After all, this is an electric vehicle equipped with all of Tesla's advanced technology, and it hasn't even been officially announced. It's impossible not to be intrigued by what's happening behind the curtain. The secret to this price point is reportedly the so-called giga-casting, a technology Elon Musk has championed for years, but which is now set to achieve a whole new level. Rather than assembling hundreds of individual parts, the Model 2's chassis would be cast in massive single pieces, drastically cutting down the number of components and the complexity of the assembly process. This would eliminate entire stages of production and massively shorten the time required to build each car. And time in this business is money. Moreover, nearly the entire assembly line would be automated. The data points to 97% of the manufacturing being handled by robots, with a mere 12 points of human intervention from beginning to end. This is utterly unheard of. While legacy manufacturing still depends on hundreds of workers on every shift, Tesla appears ready to prove that it's possible to produce at scale with almost total robotic efficiency. You can practically envision a factory running in the dark, silent except for the hum of mechanical arms working tirelessly. Another detail that grabs attention is the use of radically simplified electronic parts. The concept is to substitute thousands of small systems with integrated, reprogrammable modules similar to what's found in modern smartphones. This not only lowers the price of materials but also the expense of any future repairs, and if there is one thing Tesla excels at, it's leveraging software as a competitive edge. It wouldn't be a shock if a portion of the Model 2's assembly could one day be updated over Wi-Fi. Even the tooling process, typically a massive fixed cost for car companies, would be reimagined. Instead of costly single-use molds, Tesla would employ reprogrammable molds that could be adjusted for various models. The average tooling expense per vehicle would fall to approximately $600, a tiny fraction of what rivals usually pay. And most astonishingly, all of this would be managed by software, something Elon Musk has long claimed would be the future of manufacturing. Ultimately, the leaked financial models indicate that with this strategy, Tesla could manufacture each Model 2 for precisely $7,500 and still sell it for $25,000, securing a staggering 233% profit margin. This isn't just shrewd business. It's a frontal assault on the business model of legacy automakers. As they fight to reduce costs without compromising quality, Tesla may be about to completely reshape the definition of an affordable car with all these expenses slashed and profit margins intact. What Tesla is building is more than a new vehicle, it's a new method of building vehicles. And to execute this at scale, it requires an industrial foundation that matches its ambition. This is where the strategy for distributed manufacturing across Giga Texas, Giga Shanghai, and the long-awaited Giga Mexico comes into play. Factories that combined could churn out millions of units annually. It seems audacious, but this puzzle is being put together with perfectly placed pieces, and each move appears to have been strategized years prior. What is most impressive is how Tesla maintains nearly everything in-house, in contrast to traditional car manufacturers that depend on a global network of suppliers. Elon Musk has been progressively centralizing manufacturing under one roof. Based on the documents, 80% of the Model 2's parts would be made inside Giga Texas itself, while 95% of Giga Shanghai's materials would be sourced locally. This not only cuts costs but also insulates production from global supply chain disruptions, a problem that crippled giants during the pandemic. With this framework, Tesla would have an initial capacity to make 375,000 units a year in Texas alone, with plans to scale up to a remarkable 2 million units per year in Mexico. This level of scale is simply beyond the reach of its rivals. For context, GM's Orion factory, which builds the Chevrolet Bolt, maxes out at 150,000 units a year. It's like pitting a rowboat against a battleship. And the key detail is that while others are still working to retool their factories, Tesla would already have its production line running. But what truly disrupts the industry is the speed of the manufacturing process. Using the so-called unboxed manufacturing system, Tesla would work with 5-second assembly cycles, which translates to a 30% reduction in the total cost per vehicle. This means that in the time it takes you to read this sentence, a new Model 2 could be coming off the assembly line. It's a level of efficiency typically seen only in smartphone plants, never in automotive factories. Beyond scale and speed, there's the exclusivity element. Tesla has allegedly placed battery orders with suppliers like CATL, LG Energy, and Panasonic worth a total of $847 million, with delivery dates aligned with the Model 2's production timeline. These agreements practically cement the commitment to launching the model, even without an official announcement. After all, nobody invests nearly $1 billion in batteries just to let them sit in a warehouse collecting dust. All signs point to a schedule being in motion, and that the world will be seeing this car on the roads very soon, and the numbers are telling. With this model, Tesla could have 500,000 units on the road as early as 2026, reclaiming its dominance in the US, which slipped from 65% to 50% between 2023 and 2024. With the Model 2, this market share could bounce back to its former levels, putting pressure on brands like Hyundai and BYD that have been making gains. And in the European market, where Tesla lost ground with a 37% drop in sales in 2025, large-scale production at Giga Mexico would enable it to flood the old continent with a more affordable and superior product than its local rivals. And just as this all begins to feel too massive to be real, another layer emerges that makes it all even more incredible. The Model 2 could, in fact, be the central hub of an entire Tesla technological ecosystem. The leak suggests this vehicle wouldn't be just another cheap electric car. It would act as a direct gateway to devices like the long-rumored Tesla Pi tablet, a project that remains unconfirmed but has appeared consistently in patent filings and internal chatter, and that's when the conversation shifts beyond just transportation. What stood out in the documents were several patents related to Project Redwood that described vehicle-device integration protocols, allowing for direct communication between the car and external smart devices. This is exactly the type of connectivity required to use the Tesla Pi as a mobile command center. Picture starting your car, programming routes, adjusting the climate, and selecting music, all from a tablet that is already synced with the car, or even using voice commands tied into your smart home. It's as if the Model 2 is being designed to exist within a digital ecosystem that isn't here yet, but already has a name. One technical detail that sparked much discussion was the relocated charging port system. Moving from Tesla's standard right side to the left side like the Cybertruck, this might seem like a minor aesthetic choice, but it hints at a new energy and connectivity framework that would align perfectly with the concept of a car that not only draws power but also shares it with other devices. It would be like transforming the Model 2 into a mobile power bank, fully integrated with Tesla's ecosystem of home batteries and solar panels. Another fascinating point is the lighting systems. The prototypes spotted in the wild showcase new horizontal rear LEDs, a complete departure from Tesla's current design standard. Beyond their visual appeal, these lights seem to have smart capabilities, like altering their light pattern based on driving mode or to interact with pedestrians. This might sound like a luxury, but it fits with the idea of a car that communicates with its environment, which is crucial for applications like FSD and robotaxis to secret weapons the Model 2 is said to possess. Yes, it will also ship with full self-driving FSD installed from the factory. And that is a game changer. Instead of making this a premium add-on like with past models, Tesla can finally deliver FSD as a standard feature, making the Model 2 a native autonomous driving platform. This is more than a convenience, it's the initial step toward using the car as a service. Whether by the owner letting the vehicle operate as a robotaxi, or through shared urban mobility systems, this is where the grander strategy begins to reveal itself. If your mind isn't already spinning, consider the social and environmental ramifications this car could have. Because the Model 2 wouldn't just be an industrial or technological upheaval, it would have the potential to put a Tesla in the driveway of millions of people who, until now, couldn't even dream of it. With a projected final price of $10,000 to $15,000 after tax credits in the US, this model could be a viable option for over 80% of American households. Something unimaginable just a few years back, and we aren't talking about a stripped-down, dull car that resembles a mobile appliance. This is a genuine Tesla, with all the brand value that comes with it. Think about the effect this would have on small towns where people still depend on gas-powered cars due to the absence of affordable EV options, or on middle-class suburbs that never thought they could charge their car at home like a smartphone. If this model becomes widely accessible, it will fundamentally alter the urban environment. From the layout of parking lots to the energy usage in homes, it's as if the future we only saw in commercials suddenly started materializing on the streets next door. And speaking of impact, there's the financial aspect, which for many families will be a game changer in fuel and maintenance savings alone. It's projected that a Model 2 owner could save roughly $7,000 annually over a decade. That's $70,000 back in their bank account. That's before even factoring in the savings on gas taxes, oil changes, brake replacements, and more. And the best part is doing so without sacrificing comfort, tech, or safety. Tesla aims to provide all of this in a compact, intelligent vehicle. Now, envision the effect this will have on people in areas far from major urban centers, where public transit is limited and gas cars are the norm. The Model 2 could be the first brand new car in many people's lives, not a patched-together used vehicle, but a Tesla with a warranty, connectivity, and real support. This could revolutionize people's relationship with mobility. A young driver just getting their license, a senior citizen, a teacher, or a rural worker, all could soon experience something that once seemed reserved for the wealthy and famous. And then there's the environmental component. According to studies tied to the project, if 500,000 Model 2 South were to replace internal combustion vehicles, the US could prevent 10 million tons of CO2 emissions annually. That's the equivalent of what a forest of 200 million trees would take decades to absorb. And this isn't just about cars, it's about the planet, public health, air quality in cities, and even global climate initiatives. And this leads to the most ambitious part of this entire narrative, the start of the third phase of Tesla's master plan. For those who have followed the company since the early Roadster days, you know Elon Musk has always spoken about this with a certain excitement, but now it appears the final stage is about to be realized. The strategy was always clear: launch high-priced cars to build capital, then release mid-range models to achieve scale, and finally, the ultimate move, a popular, revolutionary car to reach the masses. The Model 2 would be the fulfillment of this pledge, made back when Tesla was still viewed as an unusual Silicon Valley experiment. To date, Tesla has successfully executed the first two stages. The Model S and Model X cemented the brand as a leader in luxury and tech. The Model 3 and Model Y solidified sales volume and manufacturing prowess. But now, with the Model 2, Tesla would be aiming for the 89% of the global population that still can't afford a Tesla. This is a massive market segment that traditional automakers have tried to capture for decades, always getting stuck on issues of cost, infrastructure, or technology, and this is precisely where Tesla intends to dominate. Because what makes this third phase different isn't just the lower price, it's the access model it offers. The Model 2 wouldn't just be a car to purchase. It could be leased, shared, linked to the robo-taxi network, and perhaps even operated remotely in the future. Elon Musk has stated multiple times that the future of mobility isn't about owning a car, but using it as an intelligent service, and the Model 2 is the ideal vessel for this digital soul. The capability to integrate FSD from day one already primes the car for this future. While other car makers are still grappling with implementing limited autonomous systems, Tesla will be able to deploy hundreds of thousands of vehicles ready to function as robots on wheels, dramatically lowering the need for privately owned cars in cities. This will impact public transit, ride-sharing apps, delivery services, and even traffic congestion. It's more than a shift in category, it's a paradigm shift. And even for those who want the car for traditional ownership, the experience will be different. Tesla will enable the Model 2 to work for its owner while they are at home or work. The car could go out, transport other people autonomously, and generate passive income without you ever needing to be behind the wheel. It's a concept that sounds like it's from a sci-fi show, but it seems to be closer to reality than many think. With the debut of the Model 2, a new era would begin, not just for the automotive industry, but for the daily lives of millions. It's interesting to consider that for generations, the car was a symbol of status, of financial success, almost a trophy for those who had made it. Now, with the Model 2, that logic could be flipped on its head. For the very first time, an intelligent, electric, autonomous car could be within the grasp of those who previously wouldn't have even considered applying for a car loan.